Hello everybody, it's Canadagrass here, and I've got a video for you that is a little different than my usual videos. This is some news from today about the Arrowverse in general. So CW earlier today, there'll be an article in the link down below, made an announcement about 7 renewals. These are not all the renewals they're making, these are just early renewals. They'll have more coming probably in May when the upfronts come around, but they came out with 7 renewals today, including some shows that aren't part of the Arrowverse, like Kung Fu, Riverdale, Nancy Drew, All American, and I think I'm missing Walker. And they also renewed 2 Arrowverse shows, and that being The Flash and Superman and Lois, which I think pretty much anybody and everybody pegged that was going to happen. For Superman and Lois, it just made it was a no-brainer, because it's the network's like first or second rated show. It's still fairly new, and you know, there's the additional point of Superman and Lois has a deal with the city that they film in to lease the land that they built their Smallville town studio on for at least 3 years. So it was pretty clear they were going to always do at least 3 seasons of that show. For The Flash, we obviously recently heard through a lot of the dependable sources that Grant Gustin was close to signing a deal on a extension for a 9th season. So with him signed on, they finally were able to give the green light and say, okay, we're doing a season 9 of The Flash. Though that was probably the only thing really holding them up, being able to say that officially, was getting him actually signed on. But what a lot of people did notice was there are some shows missing on this renewal announcement. So, not mentioned in the renewal announcement was current shows: Legends of Tomorrow, Batwoman, Stargirl, and Naomi. So, with those, there is a few questions from people, like unsure why some of those shows weren't renewed, specifically Batwoman, and a little bit Legends of Tomorrow and Stargirl. I'll try and explain my reasoning on why I think that is. None of this is etched in stone. I don't have an inside source on this. Just kind of reading the room on how things are. The other thing that people also did notice was that there was nothing announced about whether Justice U or Gotham Knights, the 2 spin-off projects that, or not necessarily spin-off, but DC Comics related content that were suggested as a pilot and in development were not mentioned in this either. So I'll go over those 2. But first, let's get to the shows that were not that are airing but have not been yet picked up. So with Batwoman, it would be a notable surprise if Batwoman does not get a season 4, despite the plethora of haters that it gets who are from a particular crybaby group of individuals. It's pretty popular with the people that do watch the show. It has a very good, it holds its audience very well. It does not drop a lot of numbers. You know, if one week it's getting 250,000 viewers, the next week it's going to get like 248,000. It's not dropping down 20% in viewers in a week. That is important for a network. They don't want a show that's wavering, you know, really a lot about overall audience. They want to know exactly what type of audience they're going to get week in and week out. So that's good for them. Their live numbers are a little slow, you know, nobody disputes that, but their online numbers have been pretty strong. For a while on HBO Max, it was one of the top 3 shows on HBO Max. I don't know where it stands today because HBO Max has a little more content than they did a few months ago. But it's holding its own there, and I think it's a show that they are still wanting to continue with. Now, whether or not it continues on past season 4, especially with the CW merger and potential sale and everything going on behind the scenes right now, who knows? But I think a season 4 is reasonably confident. I'm reasonably confident there'll be a season 4 based off of some of that. Now, why didn't it get picked up yet? My feeling on that is I think it may be getting pushed to a mid-season show, so it would debut in January. And because of that, they didn't feel they needed to make an announcement on that yet, because it wouldn't need to start filming until like September, where most shows would start in July, and they kind of would have to start getting everything together faster for that. That's just theory. That's nothing I know to be a fact, just kind of reading the room and making some decisions off of what info is available. I mean, all the actors are already under contract. It's not like they have to re-sign someone. Everybody is there. All they have to do is just go in and start working. So I think that's one of the ones where they didn't have to do any work to it. They're just sitting there going, okay, we can put that off for a while until we need to make an announcement on it. Some of these other shows, maybe they were more necessary to get something out right now. So with Legends of Tomorrow, this is a less certain scenario for me. I feel it's still going to get another season. So there's been some talk on Twitter with some people in the know who have pointed out that Legends didn't close down any of their accounts that shows hold with like service providers in town, like simple as like electricity or something. Like there's an account you would have with every company that supplies you with stuff, and if your show was ended, if you knew you were never coming back, you just close that account down. But they haven't closed some of those down. So this gives people the idea that they think the show's still going on, and I think it's pretty good thing. Doesn't mean that they couldn't suddenly get canceled. Maybe they are on the bubble and they decided to keep the offices open because they think they're getting renewed, but they could get unexpectedly canceled at the last minute. It has happened to shows in the past, but the CW is generally not that way with their shows. On top of that, the contracts of actors could be a question mark right now. A lot of them, their contracts are probably up because they didn't know if the show is continuing on and they didn't have them signed on for another season, so they may still be in the negotiations phase with some of those actors. We know recently that Nick Zano has left the show, and that Katie Lotz may or may not be signed on currently, and we don't know where other actors on the show stand at this time. So if they haven't signed on pieces that they consider essential for the show, they may not go forward. But if they can get those characters signed on, then they would go ahead. It also is important to point out that Legends of Tomorrow has surpassed all of its like maximum profitability margins. There's no new thing they can hit to make the show more profitable for its producers. It's got to 100 episodes. That was the last big milestone it could reach. At any time, it could just be ended, and we might be at that point, or we might not. And the fact that they didn't cancel it today, obviously, and season recently ended. When the season recently ended, we got a scene that would imply that they have a storyline in place for season 8 ready to go. I think if they were told they weren't coming back, they would have wrapped that stuff up before the end of that episode. So as far as Stargirl goes, part of the reason it wasn't announced is because it hasn't even started airing its new season yet. It just this week wrapped season 3 filming. They've just finished filming season 3. It won't air for a few more months. So an announcement on a season 4 renewal is well down the line for that. You probably won't hear about that until the summer. That's the main reason why there was nothing about Stargirl today. As for Naomi, the new show on the network, I think this, honestly, my feeling on it, again, no inside knowledge, just observing how things are, with how weak it's done viewership-wise. I mean, it's now teetering down at around 430,000 live viewers. It's going to come down to whether or not whatever deal they had in place with Ava DuVernay, who is the show's creator, it'll come down to whatever deal they have in place. She's a big name, and CW probably wants to keep her in their grasps. If they have a deal with her that's like, we promise you X amount of seasons, then they're going to do that. But if it was just basically we'll give you a show, we'll see how it does. If it can stay afloat, great. If it doesn't, we're gonna just pull the plug on it. Then I think the show is dead on arrival. I mean, its fan base has been non-existent. It's not a show people talk about on social media, and yet it's a show that is directly trying to appeal to the young audience. So it's kind of bad for the show that the thing it's supposed to do, it's not doing. And I think this decision will come down solely on the shoulders of if they've already got an agreement in place with Ava DuVernay, and that if that deal is like, we promised you X amount of seasons, they're doing X amount of seasons. If they don't have some type of deal like that in place, I think the show probably gets canceled. That brings us to two shows that aren't even technically a thing yet, and that is Justice U and Gotham Knights. So Gotham Knights does have a pilot order. They have been given a pilot order by the CW, and that's filming, could be filming now. If not, it's filming very soon out east in Toronto. And I think we will find out about whether or not that gets picked up at the upfronts in May. I don't think they will make a decision prior to that. They will need to film it and see what their content looks like first before they make any decision. I think it's a 50-50 on whether it gets picked up. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. As for Justice U, that is further away. They haven't even given a pilot order to that yet. That is still an in-development project. It could be something that we hear more about maybe in the summer, getting a pilot, and then maybe getting a mid-season show filming, maybe somewhere in September or October. But for now, no decision has been made on that. And that is essentially it for those projects. So if you somehow just clicked on this video and ended up near the end of the video and you didn't hear the news, The Flash and Superman and Lois are renewed. The Flash for its 9th season, Superman and Lois for its 3rd season. Batwoman, Legends of Tomorrow are still unknown. Stargirl will not have any announcement for a few months because they haven't even started airing their season yet. Naomi is very much comes down to whether or not the show had an arranged deal ahead of time with their creator, Ava DuVernay, I think. That is the news, and thanks for checking it out. And if you're looking for more behind-the-scenes videos from The Flash, from Superman and Lois, from Batwoman, from Legends of Tomorrow, as well as previous shows like Arrow and Supergirl, I do have videos on my site from that. You can find some playlists for Flash and some of the other ones there. Thanks everyone, and see you around for the next video. Bye.